Heisman contenders, March Madness Cinderellas, Olympic-level talent. The energy of college athletics is unmatched. And every week, we highlight the most incredible performances, the biggest upsets, and the breakout stars that will become the next generation of professional legends. If it's trending, if it's dominating the headlines, it is officially noteworthy. Get ready for your all-access pass to the collegiate sports world. Welcome to Noteworthy in the NCAA, brought to you by the Empty the Bench Network. Now, let's join your host, Will Charlton.
Well, folks, we are officially down to the final two teams remaining in the NCAA March Madness tournament. And what a tournament it has been. Welcome into another episode of Noteworthy in the NCAA here on the Empty the Bench Network. I'm your host, Will Charlton. Happy to have you with us on this Sunday. Happy Easter Sunday to all of you. Couldn't do this tomorrow like we usually do on Monday, so we've still had to come on here and talk about the Final Four and preview tomorrow night's national championship game. And before we get into that, let's take care of the housekeeping first. Make sure to follow us across all social media platforms, Twitter/X, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it may be, at ETB Network. You can keep up with all of our shows on youtube.com/ETB Network. In case you missed any shows, you might want to go back and watch. We all got some fantastic content here on the Empty the Bench Network. And make sure to follow the podcast I'm mainly a part of, Forever Power 5 at FP5ETB. That's on Twitter, X, and then Instagram, and then on TikTok at Forever Power 5, no caps or spaces. You can follow me on X and Twitter at Will Charlton H13, and then TikTok and Instagram at Will Charlton TV. And I'll tell you guys what, before we get into talking about what went down on Saturday night in Indianapolis, as we speak right now, the women's national championship is currently on, and UCLA is dominating South Carolina. We'll get to this game a little bit more later, but UCLA currently has a 22-point lead in the third quarter as we are live on this podcast right now. So the Bruins looking to get the Big Ten a national title after they beat Texas in the Final Four, and South Carolina beat UConn to end the 58-game winning streak for Geno Auriemma and company. So yeah, we'll get back to this game in a little bit, but let's start with the main topic of the Final Four. And this headline breaks my heart, but it is the reality of the situation, and we are here to talk about it today. So this game between UConn and Illinois just kind of happened to be between a team who has been in the stage before and knows what it takes to win a national championship, knows what it takes to play well in a football arena, knows what it takes to win in this month, and I guess now April too, not just March, but April. Just a pure out everything that UConn did against Illinois. Outcoached. Dan Hurley simply outcoached Brad Underwood. Outplayed. The UConn Huskies simply outplayed the Illinois Fighting Illini in this game. Out-physical. Like, it was just UConn came ready to go, and the lights were too bright for Illinois. And that's not to say that Illinois didn't get the looks they wanted to. Illinois had plenty of very good looks that just didn't go in the basket. Like, there was a clip, and this was kind of like the epitome of how this game went for Illinois. There was a play where Andrei Stojakovic is driving to the rim. He has a layup, and then it rims in and out, sits on top of, I guess sits on top of the rim is what you would say. It looks like it was just going to sit there, and then it rolls off. Like, Illinois just could not buy a bucket in that game. And a very interesting stat is going back to the Elite Eight in 2024, and UConn also eliminated Illinois from the men's basketball tournament. The last three times UConn and Illinois have played each other are the three lowest point totals Illinois has had in the last three seasons. So in 2024, the Elite Eight, it was 52 points Illinois scored. Earlier in the year, it was 61, and then last night it was 62. So UConn gets the win 71-62 over Illinois in the Illini's first Final Four appearance since 2005. And UConn was just getting what it wanted. To break down some of the stats from this game, Illinois shot 6 of 23 from three. The three ball was just not falling, whereas UConn was 12 of 33. And look, 36% isn't phenomenal by any means, but it can definitely win you a ball game. And in this sense, it did, because Braylon Mullins was so key for UConn. He was 4 of 7 from downtown, so he hit 4 of the 12. Solo ball hit a few. And if you would have told me going into this game that their senior leader, their guy, Alex Caravan, scores 9 points on 1 of 8 shooting and 1 for 7 from three, without any other statistical background, without any other stats given, I'm like, oh, Illinois wins that game easily. Easily. If Caravan has that bad of a night, Illinois probably wins this game by 10 plus. Simply not the case at all. Terrace Reed didn't have as dominant of a game as he has had in the tournament, but he still had 17-11. And really the only thing that was going right for Illinois was Keaton Wagler getting to his spots. He didn't shoot the three ball particularly well. It was 2 for 10, but he was still getting to the lane from within the Keaton Wagler was 5 for 6 on twos in the game. And so he was getting to the rim. He was getting to the foul line. So Keaton Wagler was finding ways to get to the rim and try to contribute in those ways. But when he started chucking at the end, that's when you knew it was kind of out of reach. So UConn got up by as much as 14 the second half. And that was kind of the point where it's like, okay, this is where you can really tell that a team has been here before and they know what it takes. A coach has been here and he knows what it takes, between a team who is playing, a coach in his first Final Four appearance, a coach who has guys that aren't really used to the setting of what they're playing in, because like the elephant in the room is that a football arena is a much, much different atmosphere to play a basketball game in than a regular arena. Like, you have 70,000 fans watching this game in person, and the perception of depth, like the shooter's eye is so much different in a football arena than it is a basketball arena, because the depth is just so broadened. Like, there is so much depth behind each basket. So every shot feels a little bit longer. It feels like if you look at a lot of the shots Illinois missed, they were long. Like, the shots that Illinois missed from three were long. A lot of them were, because the depth is just so different. It's not something you're really used to seeing. So really it was just Really, it was just kind of one of those deals that Illinois just couldn't really ever find comfort. And we're talking, and like, look, allowing 71 points to UConn is not bad. Like, Illinois has played very good on the defensive end in this tournament, and allowing 71 points is not bad. It's not bad at all. You can still easily win a game by allowing 71 points. Illinois has done that a lot this year. Like, they found a way to get past 80, and then they help hold teams to under 80. Like, that was a lot of Illinois' recipe to win games this year. But the thing is, Illinois was known for having this high-powered top-tier offense, and it was rated as the best offense analytically throughout the country for a majority of the season, and it was heading into this game. You wouldn't have been able to tell that in this game, because UConn was limiting Illinois' looks. Illinois was just not comfortable playing way too much hero ball. And I think the biggest statistical key from this game that really sums up how things went for the Illini, 8 turnovers and only 3 team assists. That's the big story right there. That's the big story. And for UConn, completely polar opposite. 14 assists and only 4 turnovers. That's the difference in the game right there. That's really the difference. I mean, Illinois just could not get comfortable. And what's so surprising about this too is, like, this is kind of like a matchup dream scenario for Illinois. Illinois matches up really well with UConn. That's why I was so confident on Monday when I picked Illinois to win this game, because obviously I'm a little biased. Yeah, I won't discredit that. But when you're talking about like how Illinois matches up with its pure size and its pure ability to get downhill and score at will, Illinois was kind of in a great scenario matchup-wise against UConn, because you had the position advantage at everything but the 5. When that's only when Terrace Reed was in. When Reed was out, you had the advantage at every single position, size-wise, matchup-wise. And you could see it. Wagler was not really rattled all too much being defended by Silas Demery. He wasn't. He was still getting to the lane. He was still scoring twos. Like I said, he was 5 for 6 within the perimeter. So Illinois just simply could not really get things going in terms of what they wanted to do. UConn got up 8 at halftime. So early on, UConn got up 10, and then they were kind of controlling the first half. Illinois then goes on a 12-0 run, I believe, and they hit their first three. Tomislav Ivicic hits the first three for Illinois, and Illinois is now on top 22-21. And this is the point where it's like, okay, so now Illinois settled in. They're starting to feel things out a little bit. This is where they can start kind of taking advantage of things. Like UConn hasn't made a bucket in like 4 minutes. Illinois is on an extended run right now. Then next thing you know, UConn they respond with a run of their own. They go up 8 at halftime, get up by as much as 14 the second half. Illinois cut it down to 4 with 2 minutes to go, something like that. And then in a key possession where Illinois needed to stop more than ever, UConn grabs an offensive rebound that turns into a made three for Braylon Mullins. Go back up 7. That's the ball game. If Illinois grabs the board there, it's a 4-point game with like a minute 30 left, give or take. You can go down and score, make it a 2-point game with like a minute left. And guess what? You get another stop. You have a chance to tie for overtime or win the game. Now, look, it didn't happen. Hindsight's always 20/20. But a key rebound, once again, cost Illinois a chance to come back and make it into the national title game. But look, all the credit in the world to Dan Hurley and company. They have had a phenomenal run. They have played some incredible battles in this tournament. Obviously, if Duke doesn't blow it at the end there, they're not even in this game. So, and then if they aren't able to fend off that Michigan State ferocious comeback, they're not even in this game. Furman gave them a hell of a game in the first round. They crushed UCLA in the second round, but Furman gave UConn troubles in the first game. So UConn's played some real tough battles, but man, Dan Hurley and company just always find a way to pull through. So UConn gets the win 71-62, ending the Illini season. And now we'll have a chance at a third national championship in the last 4 years. And they'll be playing the Michigan Wolverines, who, holy shit. I mean, what Michigan did last night to Arizona, this was supposed to be on paper one of, if not the greatest games of all time. These two teams have been two of the highest rated KenPom teams in the history of KenPom all year long. And they were like a point, like one difference apart from each other. Like I think Michigan was, I mean, it's obviously going to be different today, but looking at the KenPom rankings going into last night, it was so incredibly close how they were in the KenPom rankings. And now all of a sudden, Michigan is by far the highest ranked KenPom team in the country just because of what they did against Michigan or Arizona last night. By far. So they were within a point of each other in the net ranking. It was a lot closer than that too, going into last night. So Michigan just simply outclassed Arizona, as the headline says. Simply. And granted, Yaxel Lendeborg got hurt in this game. Yaxel Lendeborg was a non-factor. He might as well have not even played. It still wouldn't have mattered. Like, seriously. I mean, what Michigan did last night, and granted, Yaxel Lendeborg still had 11 points of 3 and 4 shooting, but he really didn't even play that much because he got hurt. But that's not to say that Michigan still just didn't find ways to dominate. I mean, Adai Mara, he has a career-high 26 on 11 of 16 shooting. He had 9 rebounds. Adai Mara was dominant. Arizona had no answers at all on the interior. And that was one thing where I was like kind of iffy about my Arizona pick in that game. But like I really thought just with how physical Arizona was, they'd be able to limit Merez Johnson and Adai Mara especially. Adai Mara just feasted. He could not be stopped. I mean, it feels like every time that he got a touchdown low, the ball went in the basket. That's essentially what it was. And then here's the key stat for Michigan too. 12 of 27 from three. 12 of 27. And if you're not a math guy, because I'm not, I've looked this up myself, that's 44% from behind the arc. And I'm going to go back to what I said. This is a football arena. Michigan being able to shoot that well, being able to shoot almost 50% from three in a football arena, mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. I mean, Namari Burnett just, well, he only hit one. I meant Trey McKinney. Trey McKinney had 4 of them off the bench. Elliot Cadeau had 3. Yaxel hit all 3, like I said. I mean, Trey McKinney was one of the biggest X factors in this game. He had 4. He went 4 of 6 from 3. McKinney was on a tear last night. So Michigan led this game by as much as 32 points in the second half. 30 points. But Arizona, in my opinion, was the best team in college basketball this season, just based off how dominant they were and what they've been doing. They cruised through the first 4 rounds, annihilated Long Island, not annihilated Utah State, but got by Utah State, annihilated Arkansas. They crushed Arkansas, buried Purdue in the second half. And then you come back around and you just get steamrolled by Michigan. And Michigan came out right away. They're up 12-1, just like that. The game was over before it started. Arizona they got it down to 17 or something like that after Michigan went up 30. But it's I just cannot believe what Michigan did to Arizona last night. And this is the Michigan team that we saw early in the year that beat Gonzaga by 40, that beat Auburn by 30, that beat San Diego State by 40. This is the Michigan team we saw earlier in the year that just annihilated teams. And man, it is so hard to think that Michigan is not just going to have their way with UConn tomorrow night. It's really hard to think that. But I'll tell you what, each game is different. One game in the tournament is weird. The thing is, I guarantee you, if this was a 7-game series between Arizona and Michigan, Arizona wins at least 3. I'm telling you, Arizona probably wins at least 3 games in the 7-game series against Michigan. Probably. But it's one game. And Michigan just completely outclassed Arizona in every single facet possible. Three-Peat could not get going. Karchenkov, who would have been a huge X factor for Arizona, could not get going. Pete still had 16, but a lot of those came in garbage time. Burries really couldn't get going. He was 2 of 10 from 3. And Arizona's not a team who likes shooting the 3 ball. They only shot 17 threes. And that's been one of the keys for Arizona this whole year is they do not like shooting the 3 ball. They've found their ways to get down low, get physical, get tough twos. Arizona has been a phenomenal 2-point shooting team this year. And they shot 37%. They shot 26 of 71 from the field, whereas Michigan was 33 of 69. And also, Arizona had 14 turnovers and only 5 team assists. Michigan, on the other hand, 22 assists and 13 turnovers. 7 steals as well for Michigan. So, I'll tell you what, head scratcher that Michigan beat Arizona by 19. And that 19 is not indicative of how dominant the game was. Arizona only losing by that game by 19. They're lucky. They only lost that game by 19. Michigan dominated Arizona. Shocking. Absolutely shocking what we watched last night in the nightcap. Stunner. It's so hard to think that is how that game went. I still can't wrap my mind around that's how that game went because I was so pumped to watch that game. And I'm not even I just didn't even really care to pay attention down the stretch because it was just so lopsided. And I was kind of laughing when Arizona was kind of getting back into it. I was I was oh, now you guys decide you want to play some basketball, but yeah, just absolutely stunning. So that sets up a national championship game between Dan Hurley and the Huskies and Dusty May and the Wolverines. Big Ten looking for its first national championship since Michigan State did in 2000. And the opening line for this game is UConn is getting 6.5 points. Yeah, it's 6.5 right now on DraftKings for Michigan. And I'll tell you what. Could I see Michigan winning this game by double figures? Absolutely. Michigan is definitely the better team. And they match up so well once again against UConn. But apparently matchups have not really mattered for this Huskies team. And I'll tell you what, UConn is not going to lose a game in March Madness without putting up the best fight they possibly can. They're not. They're not. So when I look at this game, I see Michigan kind of, especially if Axel Lendeborg is banged up. Like I definitely think that UConn can give Michigan a run for their money. I really do. And I see that 6.5 point spread, and I'm thinking like, I'm personally all over UConn on that. Like I do not see Michigan being able to win this game by that spread. Like I can see it. I can for sure with how good Michigan's been in the tournament. I mean, they've won their last, they have had a 30+ point lead now in the last 2 tournament games, and they just played Arizona. I can definitely see Michigan running away with this one, but if I'm a betting man, I'm putting my money on UConn on that spread. I think Michigan wins the game, super close, but I do think UConn covers the spread. I do. I think this game is the first to 70, and I think Michigan's going to have a hard time getting there, but I see this being like a 70. Like I'm going to say that Michigan wins this game 79-75. I'm going to say Michigan wins 79-75 in this game. And I think it's a situation where Michigan is in front for a lot of the game, and not by a lot, only by like 2 or 3 possessions the whole time. But UConn is just fight, but they just can't ultimately fight all the way back. You're not going to beat UConn in March unless you give it your all, because we've proven, like this tournament has proven that UConn had a terrible end of the season. Terrible. I mean, down the stretch, they lost a game to Creighton at home. Awful loss. They lost to Marquette on the road. Now, look, I know it's on the road, but Marquette was awful this year. I mean, terrible. Marquette had one of the worst years in program history. And then they got blown out by St. John's in the Big East championship game. Those are 3 losses UConn had down the stretch where it's like, I was out in them. I mean, I picked UCLA to beat them in the second round. I did. I did not have much confidence in this UConn team, and they have proven me wrong. I mean, wow, they proved me wrong. So yeah, I think Dan Hurley and his guys, since they know the stage, they've been there over and over and over again. I think they're going to give Michigan a hell of a fight. I do. And I think Michigan's going to have to really, really be on their A game to win this game. I think they will be. I mean, I don't see any reason why Michigan's going to let up now. But I definitely do see UConn keeping this within that 6.5 point spread, though. I do. And I'll tell you what, it's going to be very, very hard for Terrace Reed to have the games he's had in the tournament with Merez Johnson and Adai Mara down low. Like, you got those 2 guys in the perimeter at all times for Michigan. Terrace Reed is not going to be the guy that wins, that keeps UConn in this game. It's going to be their shooting. And they've already proven that they can shoot in this atmosphere. I think they're going to shoot very well again. I think Solo Ball is going to make a few. I think Caravan's going to have a much better shooting night. Braylon Mullen's going to hit a few, and they're going to stay in this game. This is going to be a really good game tomorrow night. So, yeah, this game's at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific tomorrow night. TBS, TNT, True TV. I think it's on all those platforms. So, yeah, this should be a good one. But I think the guy, if Axel Lendeborg is not very healthy, I do expect Adai Mara to have another big game, because obviously, like, Reed can only cover one of those 2 guys down low, and there's going to be a lot of action between Johnson and Mara to get both those guys open. So, and Michigan just got so much size. I mean, they got so much size, and you know, when you look at this game, like Michigan really has been. Michigan's proven after beating Arizona they are the best team in the country. It's just, will they prove that they're the best team in the country one last time? So I do got Michigan winning this game but I do have UConn covering. So it should be very fun. And now that we are now that we've got that settled out, UCLA is 8.5 minutes from winning the women's national championship. They are now up 31 points as we're live right now against South Carolina. UCLA is dominating the Gamecocks. So I will say this. I picked the Final Four right in the women's bracket, and I picked UCLA to win it all. I have them beating UConn, not South Carolina, but looks like I'm going to pick the right national champion on the women's side. So that's kind of cool. So UCLA is going to win the Big Ten, a women's national championships. That's super cool, especially after Iowa fell short those couple times with Caitlin Clark. So yeah, good for the Bruins. I mean, they're up 33 now, 33 in the national championship game against South Carolina, who just beat UConn, who just ended the 54-game win streak that UConn had. UCLA, man, Lauren Betts and company just looking dominant. Let's get a live box score up from this game here so I can kind of show you guys how they're down. So UCLA was up quickly. I mean, they got 21-10 after the first quarter. And then in the third quarter, UCLA just outscored South Carolina 25-9. 25-9. Isn't that crazy? I mean, UCLA, their only loss was earlier in the year to Texas. They avenged that loss in the Final Four, got the win over the Longhorns. The final score of that one was 51-44. And so, yeah, just check out this box score for this game right now. Hold on. I clicked the wrong button here. One second. I'm getting it up here. 4 of UCLA's 5 starters are in double figures. Lauren Betts has 12. Gabriela Jaquez leading the way with 16. And then Gianna Neepkins, 12. Charlize Leisure-Walker, 10. Kiki Rice now up to double figures with 10. So all 5 of UCLA starters have scored double figures. And the only one in double figures for South Carolina is Tessa Johnson. Just mind-boggling what UCLA is doing to South Carolina right now. And South Carolina is 1 of 12 from 3 and shooting 14 of 53 from the field as a whole. UC, on the other hand, 6 of 17 from 3, 25 of 58 from the field. Just utter dominance right now we're seeing from the Bruins. 18 assists, only 9 turnovers. South Carolina's got 7 assists and 12 turnovers. And UCLA is substantially winning the rebounding battle too. They're winning this 44-32 right now. So UCLA, hell of a season for the Bruins. Congratulations to UCLA. And they're on their way to cruising past South Carolina for the national championship here. Kind of a shame this game was so lopsided. I mean, you figured this game was going to be a battle after South Carolina did what they did to UConn, 62-48. So speaking of that game between South Carolina and UConn, this was one of the wildest crash outs I think I've ever seen. Geno Auriemma was being a baby at the end of the game and complaining about the referees. There was an instance where Geno Auriemma was complaining to the referees about one of his players having a ripped jersey. And guess how that happened? She ripped her own jersey. You literally see the camera panning over and she's ripping her own jersey like that. And Geno Auriemma thought that was a foul. So there is I mean, obviously all of you have seen it. All of you have seen that, what the handshake at the end and tempers flaring at the end and Dawn Staley getting all mad about it. And apparently Geno was saying that like he was waiting in half court to shake Dawn Staley's hand but pregame for like 5 minutes and she just never showed up. So that's what kind of sparked the feud initially. But Geno Auriemma put out a statement after the game saying there's no excuse for how I handled the end of the game versus South Carolina. It's unlike what I do and what our standard is here at Connecticut. I want to apologize to the staff and the team at South Carolina. It was uncalled for in how I reacted. The story should be how well South Carolina played, and I don't want my actions to detract from that. I've had a great relationship with their staff, and I sincerely want to apologize to them. So at least he came out and righted his wrongs. But that was a wild, wild situation. And if you guys haven't seen it, it's all over social media. I mean, it's everywhere. You guys, I'm sure every one of you have seen it at this point. Like it's not hidden. It's not hidden out there. Like it's very public to see that. So, yeah, just kind of childish behavior at the end of that game for Geno Auriemma. He wins 54 in a row and doesn't know how to act after he loses one. So South Carolina just dominated UConn that game, just dominated them. So that's why it's so shocking to see UCLA just annihilating South Carolina right now. It's shocking. Maybe South Carolina just kind of ran out of gas, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, that was a wild scene. Wild scene to see that kind of go down the way it did. You just don't really see that very often, especially from two coaches who have played each other a handful of times in late stages of the season. Like, I mean, UConn and South Carolina, I feel like I've had so many matchups in late stages of the women's tournament. Like, I feel like both those teams are always in the women's Final Four, no matter what seed they are, no matter what year it is. And Dawn Staley's always there. Geno Auriemma's always there. So it's pretty wild to see the tempers flare like that, especially for coaches who have faced off against each other so many times. And so we'll segue away from that, but there has been a report that has gone around, and big sources have confirmed that the NCAA is finalizing an expansion to 76 teams for the women's and men's tournament. And that's going to add 8 more teams to each tournament bracket. And that is going to only allow for more first 4 games in a sense. So instead of the first 4 games, it's now going to be the first 8 games, I guess it would be. Is that the math? Because if you add 8 more teams, I don't know. I'm drawing a blank, but yeah. Like I said, I'm not a math guy, so I don't know. But this is so stupid. This is so unbelievably dumb. Why are we fixing something that's not broke? Why are we trying to fix something that's not broke? Why? Did these people see the men's bubble this year? Did they even look at the men's bubble this year? You're telling me that a team like Oklahoma, a team like Auburn, those 2 teams would have made the field? Those 2 teams would have made the field. Hell no. No. Like, why are we trying to fix something that's not broken? The tournament field is perfect the way it is. It's not broken in any way, shape, or form. Like, I get it that it's not it's not eliminating, it's not going to put really good teams at risk of having a bad matchup in the first round. But we're setting the standard here that we're trying to reward teams for losing games that they're supposed to win. Literally, if there was 76 teams in this field this year, Auburn would have been in. Auburn would have been in with a 17-16 record. They would have made the field. They would have. And granted, they're probably going to win the NIT today later on. But they went 4-12, I think it was, in quad 1 games. That's not a team who deserves to be in the NCAA tournament. It's not. The bubble was pathetic this year. So, and the thing is, I don't think this is going to help mid-major schools like a team like Belmont, for instance, who had a phenomenal year. I think they were 26-3, something like that, before they lost in the Missouri Valley tournament to Northern Iowa. I think they were 27-3 or something like that. I can't remember their exact record, but this is just seriously so unbelievably stupid. So stupid. What? I can't wrap my mind around this. This pisses me off. It pisses me off. I don't even think it's going to do well for mid-major schools. I don't even think a team who, a team like Belmont, I don't think this helps them out. I think this is a way to allow for more shittier power conference teams to make the NCAA tournament field. They don't deserve to. I know it'll be a play-in game, but those teams who don't get in, they don't deserve to be in. Why are we trying to reward these teams for losing games they're supposed to win? Why? So dumb. So unbelievably dumb. So I'm quite ashamed that this is what we've gotten to, that people who think they're trying to fix the sport are doing actually a huge disservice to it. And look, this is not an unpopular opinion at all. This is not. You see the social media comments. No one is in support of this. No one. Like I guarantee you, if I put out a public poll, if I put out a public poll on this podcast right now with the 190 people that are watching right now, I guarantee 90% of you would be in agreement with me. I guarantee it. So I'm quite ashamed that this is where we've gotten to. Quite ashamed, because the tournament field is so great. And look, as a fan, sure, it's going to give you more games to watch in that first Tuesday and Wednesday. But who cares? Who cares? Like, why are we trying to fix something that's not broken? Why? Why are we adding 8 more teams? What's the point? Literally, what is the point? Now, look, if this is to allow mid-major schools who had really good seasons, like were a 1 seed in their conference, won the regular season conference, if this is more of a place for them to be able to find a way to get into a playing game, I'm all for that, actually. I'm kind of all for that. But it's not. It's not at all. It's not. And I can safely say it's not. It's going to allow for teams who go like 500 overall and have like 3-9 quad 1 records to still make the field. That's how it's going to be. I'm telling you right now. This is not going to be a thing that allows for mid-major schools who deserve to be in a 76-team field now to get in. It's not. So quite frustrated. And the last thing we'll talk about today is the SCORE Act that is going to really change kind of the landscape of how college athletics works. The Power 4 conferences, the Big 10, ACC, SEC, and Big 12 have all put out statements from their conference commissioners saying that they have thanked President Trump for putting this into action. And essentially what the SCORE Act is it's a way to kind of limit limit the amount of transfers that players can have. So this act is going to allow for 1 singular undergraduate transfer. So players cannot go 4 schools in 4 years, which a lot of players are doing nowadays. It's not going to allow that anymore, but it's still going to allow for a good deal of NIL opportunity, and it's still going to allow for a lot more equality in men's and women's sports. I'm not incredibly educated on this topic just yet, so I think this might be a better thing for me to talk about on next week's show, more so than right now. I won't lie, because I want to kind of dig more into this myself and really see like what the factors are. But a handful of schools have also come out and support. Indiana University is one of them who's put out a statement in support of this. So the main thing, though, I think that is going to be the big kind of headline about this is that the transfer portal opportunities are now going to be a lot more limited from this, which I think is kind of a nice regulating factor, because college sports is the Wild West right now. When you look at all the NIL money being thrown around in terms of like, oh, this guy was a 28 point per game scorer for Central Arkansas. Hey, guess what? Come play for me at Kansas. Here's $12 million next year. That's just kind of the way the college basketball, college sports in general is, whether it's football, basketball, whatever it may be. So I'm going to do a little bit more research on this, and I'll kind of be able to talk about this more next time on Noteworthy here, because now that college basketball is coming to an end tomorrow night, we're going to kind of focus to more so transfer portal stuff, and I want to dive more into this to get more knowledgeable on this. And yeah, just we're kind of going into the unfortunately we've reached the end of the 2 really fun seasons. College baseball and softball is now kind of the forefront of what's going on as we conclude it up tomorrow night with the men's national championship. So I'll be giving updates on that here and there. I don't really follow college softball and baseball all too closely, to be honest, but we will we'll be kind of trying to dive into that, but it'll be a lot of coaching news, a lot of transfer portal news, and a lot of the top headlines that are, of course, noteworthy. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Noteworthy in the NCAA. One last update in the Women's National Championship, 2 minutes, 40 seconds left to go. UCLA is up 79-45. Wow. So an early congratulations to the Bruins on winning their national championship. But thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Will Charlton. We'll catch you back next Monday on Noteworthy in the NCAA. Thanks for tuning in.